Roger, leader.
Yes, thank you very much.
There you go.
Lovely.
And to sum up, my plans for Little Auburn ensure that we, the people of Great Auburn, can feel connected to a vital part of our history. A living museum is the perfect choice for the reopening of the village of Little Auburn.
Here, here. Well done, Mummy.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you to all three finalists for your presentations, and thank you for being so patient during this long process. For 75 years, Little Auburn has been taken from us, but now we're at the start of a new and exciting chapter. All three proposals for Little Auburn's future are splendid in their own way. Midsomer Luxury Villas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Auburn Eco Village.
Woo!
And of course, Sylvia Leonard's Living Museum.
The only possible choice.
Here.
I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning for the opening of Little Auburn, where we will all get a chance to visit the village for the first time since the Second World War. Now, as you know, the army will be handing the lease back to my family, and I will then choose who takes it over. So thank you to everyone, and enjoy the party.
I think I better just go and see how Grandpa's getting on. Do you need a hand, Dad?
Go on, then.
Grandad.
Not made much effort, Sylvia. I thought you still had some of those dresses from the 40s.
You haven't changed your clothes since the Second World War, and you have no sense of community.
So, have you decided yet? Can't be easy.
You'll have to wait.
If you go for Finn and Karina's bid, of course, it'd be a great opportunity to unite the whole family, wouldn't it?
But Dad's not giving anything away.
I'm off.
Come on, let's dance!
Not really in the mood.
We might win, I want to celebrate!
I'll celebrate when the people can have their village back. And from what I know, it could be sooner rather than later.
Stay, tell me all about
You'll know tomorrow. I'm going back to the village. I think you should stay here tonight. You're too drunk to cycle anyway.
I now declare the village open.
Look what I just found. That dog was a champion berrier. What have you told Betty?
I told her the truth. Gently. That Sykes was old and his body stopped working. But we'll always remember him and love him.
Nelson sent his condolences. He called me yesterday.
How's he getting on with his undercover course?
Loving it. And doing really well, so I hear. No sign of him coming back yet.
And how are you getting on with all the temporary sergeants?
Well, you can meet the latest. He's coming to pick me up. Can your doggy chase a ball? Go on, chase it, chase it.
So where do you want to go first, Mummy?
I thought we might start with the church.
And then on to Granny's grave? We really ought to make the most of our time. We haven't got long, because I need to get back to work.
I'll take as long as I like. I've waited all my life for this day.
Of course, we get that.
And perhaps you'll understand that I'd rather be alone.
Cheery as ever.
Karina!
Karina, what's happened?
Karina? Oh my. Come on. Come here. Come here. Come here, darling.
Job's like over his nose. I think doggy likes to have. Yes, and his wheels. He needs his wheels. That's very good. Like sliding away. Do your wheels? No? We'll just do his. Okay. Sliding away.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jamie. You must be the boss's wife.
Ah, yes, Sarah. Come in.
Thank you.
Just go through.
Thanks.
Go on, then.
We introduced ourselves.
Winter.
Morning, sir. I'm not taking you to the office. I'm afraid there's a body on the village green in Little Auburn.
I take it there are suspicious circumstances?
Well, if being run over by a tank is suspicious, then yeah.
That's the village the army took over as a training ground, isn't it about to reopen?
Due to be handed back to the owners today.
Evidently, they didn't take all their hardware with them.
Hello. I'm Jamie. What's your name?
It's Betty.
Bye-bye, Betty. I've got to go to work now. Morning, Cam.
Oh, morning, sir.
What have we got?
A male in his early 30s. Major trauma to the legs and torso, excessive internal bleeding, injuries and markings, all consistent with having been struck by this. The injuries to the head and face
Cam
are...
Caramel? I didn't expect to run into you in deepest Midsomer.
Jamie, you're the latest sergeant.
I take it you two have met before?
But Cam and I did a training course together 5 years ago.
6.
You're right. We're in this big old house in Dorset. There was a tennis court, billiard table, and Cam used to win every single...
Can we save the reminiscences for another time, do you think?
Sorry, sir.
As I was saying, the facial injuries are superficial. A graze and a bump to the forehead, bits of gravel on the cheeks.
I looked like that when I came off my bike last year on Tower Bridge.
Do we know who the victim is?
His name's Finn Thornbury. His body was found when the village was open to the public this morning.
He's been dead between 10 and 12 hours, so he obviously got in here last night.
Thank you, Cam. I wonder why he was here. And who would use a tank as a murder weapon? Karina Craven?
Yes.
I'm DCI Barnaby, Causton CID. This is DS Winter.
I'll leave you to it, Chief Inspector.
Thank you, Mr.
Craven. Roderick Craven. I'm Karina's father. And this is my niece, Dottie Craven.
Mr. Craven, we'd like to talk to you later. Don't go far.
Come on, Dottie.
When was the last time you saw Finn Thornbury alive?
Last night, we were at a party at the Cross Keys to celebrate the reopening of Little Auburn.
What was he doing in a deserted village in the dark?
Oh, we've been living here.
Living here? Where exactly?
Squatting in one of the cottages to help the Auburn Eco-Village project.
Why would that help?
We want to rebuild Little Auburn, make it a proper community again. We're just waiting for my father to make a decision. And if he decides against us, he'll have to throw us out.
Do you know of anyone who might want to harm your boyfriend?
No.
Are there rival schemes to yours?
Yes, but none of them would do anything like this.
Could you tell us who his next of kin is, please?
His mother, Andrew, is married to my uncle Milo, Finn's his stepson. They're here in the village today.
Thank you. Can you tell us where this squat is?
It's this way.
One more thing. Why didn't you come back here with Finn last night?
I was tired, so, I slept in the pub. This way. It's just in here.
Thank you. Not exactly a comfortable arrangement.
Looks like someone got here before us. Wonder what they were looking for. In here, sir. It's hidden in the stairs, sir.
Interesting. You go and see if Cam's found anything else on the body, and then talk to the landowner, Roderick Craven. I'll track down Finn Thornbury's mother.
Mr. Craven! Thank you.
Sir.
Did you know that Finn and Karina were squatting here in one of the cottages?
Yes, but it made no difference to me, neither personally nor legally.
If you'd chosen a rival bid and had to evict them, local press would have a field day. Landowner evicts own daughter.
Oh, Karina would never have let it come to that.
And what about Finn Thornbury?
Well, I'm sure he'd have made hay whilst the sun shone.
Did you not get on with your daughter's boyfriend?
Not in the slightest. But my daughter thought very highly of him. I had no choice but to trust her judgment.
And had you made a decision on the winning bid for the village?
Even if I had, this is hardly the right moment.
Wait here.
The wire's new.
So the killer set a trap to knock the victim off his bike before driving at him with the tank.
Tanks are slow, lumbering things. It's better to have a target that can't dodge out of the way.
Why did you move the tank?
Oh, we had to move it forward so it's clear of the body. Don't worry, we just did the prints first.
How did you start it? Isn't driving a tank a specialised skill?
It had been hot-wired, and the mechanism's very basic. And no, it's not specialised at all. If you can drive a golf buggy, you can pretty much drive a tank.
That's a pity. Throws our field of suspects wide open.
Sorry, I don't know what's happened. Yeah, I'll fix it.
Hi, Bob. Mrs. Craven, I'm sorry to have to ask you these questions at such a difficult time.
It's okay, please.
Did your son have any enemies in the village?
No, of course not.
Well, he could be a bit arrogant.
Confident, you mean?
And had he been particularly confident about the competition? He had made it clear that he thought he should win.
Yeah, but everybody knew it wasn't personal. They all understood that. Except Sylvia Leonard.
Sylvia Leonard?
One of the other entrants.
Had she singled Finn out?
Oh, no. Sylvia distributed her scorn fairly evenly.
We found this among Finn's possessions. Do you recognise the woman or the child?
No.
Sorry.
Thank you. You're free to go. This way. Although perhaps you and I should have a chat. The photograph. You recognised them, didn't you? No? Josh, your brother has just been murdered. If I find you're holding anything back that affects this inquiry, I'll have to arrest you.
Look, you have to promise not to tell any of my family that I knew.
Not if I can help it. That's the only guarantee you're getting.
When Finn came home, I picked up his phone, and it was a woman saying that she was his wife.
His wife?
I asked him about it, and he said it was a mistake. He got married when he was working in Glasgow on a charity project, and it was something he just wanted to forget about. But he never said he had a kid.
Do you think Finn told anyone else about his marriage? Did he tell Karina?
I doubt it. He made me promise never to mention it again.
Thank you. We'll be in touch. That was Finn Thornbury's wife.
Ex-wife?
No, they're still married, although he hasn't seen her in 4 years. Apparently, he walked out a few weeks after his son was born.
Child in the photograph, I presume.
Yeah, he cared enough to keep the picture, but not enough to stick around after clearing out their joint account. And a month later, the unfortunate Mrs. Thornbury discovered he'd been misappropriating funds from the community housing project they'd both been working for.
Did you ask if there was anyone with a grudge against Finn? Anyone else, that is?
He didn't name anyone specifically, but she reckons it could be a long list.
Which is probably right. Now, this doesn't quite fit with Andrea's claim that her son's only fault was being a little overconfident. Let's find out whether Karina Craven knew anything about her late fiancé's past.
No, that can't be right. Finn and I were getting married. He was making the arrangements.
Had he got very far with that?
He'd been busy.
Booked the church? Set the date?
No, not yet.
Did you make any attempt to find out why he was delaying things?
No, I just thought he was busy. I really trusted Finn. More for me.
Thank you. If you remember anything significant that he might have mentioned about his past, please let us know. You must have been very young when the village was evacuated, Mrs. Leonard.
12. They said we'd be allowed to return at the end of the war, but we were lied to and betrayed.
Have you lived in Great Auburn ever since?
I was in London for a while after my marriage, but my husband died when Julian was a baby, and I came back.
I understand you're campaigning to restore Little Auburn exactly as it was. Had you been back there before today?
No, but I've always known it was a vital and precious part of our heritage.
What was your relationship like with your rival bidders?
Civilized.
What was your opinion of Finn Thornbury?
Full of the arrogance of youth.
Do you have any influence with Roderick that might make him look on your bid more favourably?
I'm sure, Inspector, that you will hear that I had a relationship with Roderick's father, Tobias, before I was married, but that does not put me in a favourable position with Roderick.
As one of the rival bids, I'm here to talk to you about your relationship with Finn Thornbury.
Oh, we've got no issue with him. Our bid's obviously the front runner. Oh, it's the best investment for Roderick.
Last night, did you come straight home after the party?
Yes, we came back together.
Did you speak to Finn at all?
No. Although there was something odd. When I got home, I found I'd missed a voicemail from him.
Have you still got it?
I should think so.
Why would Finn be calling you?
I don't know. I tried to ring him back, but didn't connect.
You have no new messages and one saved message.
Lucy, it's Finn. Call me back as soon as you can.
Any idea what that was about?
No idea at all. He never phoned back.
Why didn't you think to tell us this?
Can I help you?
I'm Detective Chief Inspector Barnaby, Corston CID, and you are?
Julian Leonard. I hope my mother's been her usual charming self.
Little Auburn clearly means a great deal to her.
Her family lived there for generations. Her father was the last vicar and her mother was buried there.
What do you think should happen to the village, Mr. Leonard?
I'm Roderick Craven's solicitor, so I'm staying strictly neutral.
Well, you'd be a brave man to go up against your own mother. As Mr. Craven's solicitor, you must be privy to his business affairs. Do you know which project he's going to choose?
I couldn't possibly divulge my client's preference.
I understand. But if I find I can't get this information elsewhere, I'll be back to talk to you.
It was you, wasn't it?
Are you accusing me of murder?
Don't make me laugh. You wouldn't have the guts.
What then?
There's been an application to have Little Auburn declared a site of special scientific interest. It's got your eco-friendly fingerprints all over
I
it.
have no idea what you're talking about, but if there is some form of rare plant or wildlife in Little Auburn, I'm glad it's being protected.
Father always said you were a waster. You're a pathetic failure.
Get out! Dad, stop it! You two stop arguing. My son's been killed and you're still behaving like a couple of school children. Can we please move on from this?
You always think the worst of me. But it's not me that needs to move on.
It's me. We're going to have to be more careful. Any chance of a coffee, darling?
Sure.
Thanks. Call you back.
Thank you.
Did you and Dad fight when you were kids?
All the time.
I bet you always won. Have you thought any more about who you're going to sell to? It's just, I've loved helping Lucy and Blake design the plan. It's all going to be so exciting.
In here. Hello, darling.
Sorry, am I interrupting something?
No, of course not.
I've got stuff to do. I'll see you later, Uncle Rod.
Karina?
Go on, go. No.
Here, boy.
I've come to tell you I'm not going to let our project die.
Really? And who are you going to be working with now Finn is gone?
I can lead the project without him. Of course. It was too much to hope that he might actually believe in me for once in my life.
I never said anything.
You didn't have to. All I am asking is for an opportunity to prove you wrong, to show you what I'm capable of.
Good boy.
Can I show you this, sir? The search team at Little Auburn came across it abandoned in some bushes. It's new, probably less than 6 months old, so I doubt it was left over by the army.
Was it Finn and Karina's?
Eco-warriors don't tend to use fossil fuels. They didn't have a vehicle, and there wasn't a generator at the squat. There is a serial number, so I might be able to find out when and where it was bought.
If you were Roderick Craven, which of the 3 proposals would you choose?
If I was thinking about the money, I'd pick the luxury villas. They're offering the best price. But if I wanted to keep Karina on side and do some good, I'd pick the eco-village.
And if you wanted a quiet life, you'd let Sylvia Leonard have her living museum.
What would you do?
It would depend whether I wanted to get Finn Thornbury out of my daughter's life or not. Have you managed to find out anything about Finn's finances?
Yeah. Several cash deposits made over the last couple of months.
Who would be paying regular cash to Finn? I have a feeling that this murder isn't just about who wins the fight for Little Auburn.
You know they belong to me. Why are you hiding them?
That is an outrageous accusation.
No, it's not an accusation. I am asking a question.
And I'm telling you, you're deluded.
You'd like to believe that, wouldn't you? I had hoped that we could settle this in a civilized fashion. But I will get what's mine. You'll see.
For the last time, there's nothing to worry about. Everything's heading in the right direction.
Are you sure?
You know my charm will win it for us in the end.
I can't argue with that. You are quite charming, Lucy.
Thank you.
But we have to be careful. Don't forget, as an MP, I'm the one in the public eye.
I think you're quite enjoying this. Besides, it'll all be worth it in the end. I promise. And you're not doing anything wrong.
I'm not sure people around here would agree. My mother-in-law, for a start. And certainly not Julian.
How's Jamie coping with his first country murder?
With gusto.
He's okay then? Better than the others?
Well, that's not setting the bar very high. He talks too much.
We must have him over for dinner.
You haven't been listening to me.
Yes, I have. You like him. While Betty was having her nap, I dug out the latest newsletter from the Midsomer Historical Society.
And joined Betty in peaceful slumber.
Actually, there was a piece in it arguing that Little Auburn should be preserved as a living museum.
Written by Sylvia Leonard, by any chance?
Very good.
I'm a detective, you know.
So then I rang Dr. Grenville, my local historian friend, to see if she knew anything more about the place.
And?
Well, it's more gossip than history, really. She said the Cravens were a rackety lot, by all accounts. Tobias Craven, who's the present generation's father, was a terrible gambler and womanizer.
Just like me, darling.
In your dreams.
Paddy! 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 Stupid animal. Paddy! Paddy!
Hello? Please. I need to report something.
He's been dead around 10 hours. There are signs of trauma to his head, but I don't think that's what's killed him. This flask was by his side. Tell me what you can smell.
Bitter almonds, cyanide.
Poisoned, and that's not everything. I've got something to show you. Come with me. There are traces of mud on the body, as well as evidence that he'd been dragged. Look over here, traces of blood.
It's a foxhole trench.
My guess is the victim was lured here and fell into it.
First the tank, now a foxhole.
It's as if the army never left.
Oh, thank you, Cam. Let me know if you find anything else.
I will do.
Now, let's find out what Fred Messenger was doing here so early in the morning.
I woke up early. I fancied a walk.
You know this is still private land.
I grew up here. and I didn't get a good look around yesterday.
You lived here as a child, like Sylvia Leonard?
My dad ran the pub. Her dad was the vicar. Sylvia wasn't allowed to play with us village kids.
Did you see anyone on your way here this morning? Walkers, cyclists, any vehicles on the road?
It was barely light. Look, it's nearly 10 o'clock. Everybody's going to be at my pub waiting for Roderick to announce his decision.
And what do you think it was going to be?
Well, we'll never know, will we?
I hope Roderick isn't going to leave us hanging around.
Maybe he's done a runner.
Hasn't got the guts to face us, very likely.
Hasn't got the guts to face you. No, Roderick wouldn't do that.
You okay?
Not really, no. I don't suppose you are either.
Just want to get this over with.
Oh, come on. What's he playing at?
What's the rush?
I don't like being kept waiting. Spent enough time, money, and effort on this thing.
It's all about to pay dividends. He's not going to give it to Sylvia.
Not in a million years.
She's the reason Roderick has to choose us. Well, this place will be overrun by her type.
Could we have a word in private, please?
Should we go outside?
You stay here, Josh, yeah?
I'm very sorry. Can you tell me when you last saw him?
Yesterday evening, I went to his house.
And you, Mr. Craven?
He came into my shop yesterday afternoon.
What did you talk about? Anything that might help us?
Nothing much.
And what time did you leave?
I left when he went for his usual evening walk with Paddy. Has anyone seen his dog?
Don't worry, we'll look out for him.
And how was he when he left you, Mr. Craven?
I could lie. I could say he was fine, but it wouldn't take you long to work out that our relationship wasn't that good. We had one of our usual brotherly arguments. But he was perfectly okay when he left me.
Well, that's it then. We're finished. There's no way Corinna's going to sell to us.
You don't know that for sure. And anyway, even if it is the case...
What? Sorry, what? What? Enlighten me.
Well, it's not the end of the world, Lucy.
When I fell in love with you, you weren't afraid of a challenge.
I am not afraid of a challenge.
Oh, good grief.
No. Look, can we just cut our losses and just leave, Lucy, please?
I need to do this for me. You know I have to make a success of it this time.
For goodness sake, I am just trying to make you happy.
He just doesn't get it, does he?
Was Roderick Craven a friend as well as a client?
I'd say so, yes. We'd known each other since childhood. I'd been his solicitor for more than 20 years.
Did you draw up a will for him?
Yeah. Quite a long time ago.
May I see it, please?
No, that wouldn't be right. His family have yet to see it themselves.
Are they familiar with its provisions, do you know?
I'm afraid I don't know what Roderick did or didn't discuss with his family.
The will, please, Mr. Leonard.
I've already explained that's not possible.
We can get a warrant, you know.
Have you put it that way?
He left Little Auburn to me. Why would he do that?
Does it matter?
You had no inkling that your brother was planning this?
Well, as you know, we didn't exactly get on.
And why was that?
That was my fault. Milo and I got married, and his father cut him out of the will. I mean, Roderick could have shared the inheritance when the old man died, but he didn't.
Forgive my asking, but what did Mr. Craven Sr. have against you?
Cravens don't marry barmaids. Not even when they've got them pregnant.
That seems a rather old-fashioned attitude, even for 25 years ago.
Oh, Tobias was old school. Had half the women in Great Auburn in his day, but kept the bloodline pure.
Perhaps leaving Little Auburn to Milo was Roderick's way of making amends.
But what will Karina get?
She will get the house at Great Auburn and everything else.
If there is anything else. All the Cravens are hopeless with money. The grandfather used to own a racing stables, lost the whole lot in a single bet.
Looks like Blake's about to send out a search party.
Better go.
I am so looking forward to when it's just the two of us.
You've got 5 seconds to explain what you're doing here before I call the police.
How did you get in?
Through the back door, which I found unlocked. How did you?
With Karina's keys.
Karina sent you?
Not exactly. What are you doing?
I'm calling the police.
Please, don't do that.
I'm calling them unless you tell me what you're doing here. You have 5 more seconds.
Might take a bit longer than that.
Do you remember when they took us to watch a post-mortem and the big Scottish guy fainted? You and I had to take him outside.
And then you suggested we go across the road for sushi, and he nearly fainted again.
He didn't know what he was missing. Is there anywhere in Corson that does good sushi? I usually make my own packed lunches, but what with being stuck in a hotel...
Words can hardly express how uninterested I am in your nutritional arrangements, Winter. What I am interested in is the test results from that flask.
It was cyanide, but clear for DNA and prints, I'm afraid.
What about the markings?
Possibly military. Probably 30, 40 years old.
So when the MOD still had the village?
Okay, so we should keep following up any military connections to our suspects. But why would the killer use a flask that led us to that conclusion? It's too staged.
Yeah, I'm on it, sir.
There was another thing that I thought odd.
What?
Well, there were loose hairs on Roderick Craven's head and body.
As though someone had been pulling it out.
Why would someone pull out his hair? Torture? DNA?
A love token?
And maybe we can scale back on these terraces. The stone we're looking at is pushing us way over budget.
Lucy gave me clear instructions to use the best materials. I'm just not sure if we can achieve the same effect if we go cheaper. It's naturally sourced in India.
Can I stop you for a minute? We need to talk about how to deal with Milo Craven.
Darling, little inappropriate under the circumstances.
I'm sorry, Dottie, about Roderick. But now Milo is inherited, I can't believe that your father's going to let the eco-village happen after all the hard work we've put in.
I still want it just as much as you.
Well, I think we need to make your father an offer he can't refuse. Tea?
And did you have a figure in mind? No. Didn't think so. Because we don't have unlimited funds, darling. Most of which came and continue to come from me. So this is a decision that we need to make together.
We're a team. I need you, you need me. You know how good I am at getting people to do what I want.
Milo, if we sell, we can stop flogging this dead horse for a start.
Dead horse?
Something good has got to come of this.
Well, maybe you can give up your cleaning jobs now.
I can't believe it. Poor Uncle Rod.
Oh, I know, love. Come on.
The last time I saw him, he said he regretted how things ended up between you. I told him to tell you, but he said he couldn't. The night before he died, he told me he was going to go with our luxury villas project, but that would only make matters worse between you. I suppose the eco-village will go ahead now.
We haven't got that far, to be honest.
I'm sure it's the last thing on your mind. I just thought that you should know what he said. Just in case...
Just in case what? This isn't about what Roderick wanted, it's about what Lucy wants.
Mum, that is not fair.
Isn't it? You know, ever since he started hanging around with your new friends, he barely wanted to speak to us. And now, all of a sudden, here you are.
Lucy, there's nothing I can do. It's out of my hands.
You see, I don't believe that. Not for a second.
You have to understand there's a world of difference between putting pressure on a local planning committee and going further up the chain.
It really upsets me when you underestimate yourself like this. I think you are a lot smarter than you give yourself credit for.
You're being ridiculous.
Oh, really? I don't think so. I'm sure you're going to come up with something brilliant. I think that would be for the best. For both of us.
No joy with the jerry can, but I've got the camping shop in Aspentallow trawling through their customer records, although I don't hold out much hope for their filing system.
Well, let's concentrate on the information we do have, see who we still have in play.
Who do you suppose are the only two people on that board with a criminal record?
Surprise me.
Fred Messenger and Sylvia Leonard. In 1962, a group of locals invaded Little Auburn in protest against the army's continued occupation of the village. They stayed a couple of days and then were arrested, fined and bound over. Fred and Sylvia among them.
Interesting. I wonder why Sylvia told me that she hadn't been back to Little Auburn since she was a child. And I don't remember there being any record of this invasion in her museum.
What do you mean you can't do anything about it? Why should Milo choose what happens to Little Auburn?
Sylvia, MPs aren't elected to challenge people's wills. Milo was his brother. He owns the land now. Looks like you have someone more important than me to talk to. Excuse me.
Inspector,
Mrs. Leonard. Mrs. Leonard.
Yes?
You were part of a group that broke into Little Auburn in 1962, weren't you?
What of it?
And that event isn't in your museum, is it?
Not worth mentioning. We pitched camp in Little Auburn for a few days. We got turfed out. Achieved nothing.
Except to earn you a criminal record.
Oh, I suppose that's an achievement of sorts.
And Fred Messenger was there with you, wasn't he?
I can't remember who else was there. It was a long time ago.
Mrs. Leonard, I'd hate to think that you were obstructing a murder investigation. Is there anything else I should know?
I'm not the criminal here. It's Fred who was snooping round Roderick's place after he died.
And what was he doing there?
How should I know? You're the detective. Do your job.
It's so peaceful here. I can't believe this is all ours.
Quite something, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, after all we've been through, all we've lost. Hmm? Did you hear that?
Over there.
Josh!
What's happened, Josh? What's wrong? He's burning up.
Fred Messenger.
Auburn's finest. How can I help?
It must be good news that your son-in-law now owns Little Auburn.
Suppose so. Bit of a surprise. Let's hope Milo can prove himself for once.
The village means a lot to you, I'm guessing.
Oh, go on. Spit it out.
You were involved in a protest to take back Little Auburn in 1962. Sylvia Leonard was also a part of that protest. And when I spoke to her earlier, she informed me that she found you in Roderick's house this morning.
Is it true?
Yes. I was there. Corinna asked me to find her dad's dog.
In the study?
Oh, you can't believe everything Sylvia Leonard says. She knew exactly why I was there, but she didn't want you to know that my family still owned the pub in Little Auburn. It was run in a poker game by my grandfather, and the deeds have conveniently been missing since the village was taken.
And did you find them?
No, but I will. And whatever plans Milo has will have to involve me.
Oh, sweetheart. That looks really nasty. We must get you checked out by a doctor.
I told you, Mum. I'm feeling better now.
I couldn't find any painkillers.
I'll go. And when I get back, I want you to tell me why you were in the village in the first place.
You haven't told her anything, have you? No, Dad. But you need to get back there. You must get to them now. One's got loose.
Loose? For God's sake, Josh.
Thank you, Mrs. Leonard. Thank you for your support. Would you drop one of those off at the Emporium on your way home?
Are you trying to persuade Milo? I'm not sure a leaflet will do it.
Since when have you been a quitter, Julian?
I don't want you to be disappointed.
My whole life is a disappointment.
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
Can you just move along? Stop making the front of my stall look unsightly.
I might have known you couldn't resist the temptation to set the police on me. But it backfired. I told them I was looking for the deed.
I was trying to be fair.
Fair? You can't move me aside to preserve your old relics. And Milo will do the right thing.
By destroying the village. Our past.
Move on. You're becoming an old relic yourself, Sylvia.
Steady on. You've had your say, now just leave Mummy alone. I take it he didn't find anything at Roderick's house?
Not when I was there, certainly. I saw him off the premises.
So it sounds like wishful thinking, then?
So this, I'll just give you one for one bathroom, that will do. Okay.
Thank you. I bet you know where Roderick's put the deeds.
Are you asking me to be indiscreet, Mr. Messenger?
What have you got to lose? And I won't tell your mummy, if that helps.
Nice try. You look like you need one of those.
Thanks.
I've just had Fred Messenger trying to put pressure on me.
I know that feeling. Milo, but your daughter quite rightly believes our bed is the best. No, you need to seriously consider our offer. Yeah, we can improve it if that would help. Please.
Just check that paper actually, because I'm not. Yep, that's. So that's the bathroom of one of the 2-bed flats.
Who was that?
It was just Milo.
Really?
Yes.
I really tried to talk to Dad, but he wasn't in the mood for talking about the village.
Yes, Dottie, I gathered. Honestly, you're hopeless. Don't you want us to win? Maybe try again when he's had a few drinks. Good to go and powder my nose, Blake. Large G&T for me.
I'll see you later. Hello, you.
Is Lucy in there?
Sorry, no.
Lucy, it's me. Where are you?
How are you feeling? Hope you're not in any trouble.
Honestly, Mum, it's nothing. I was just being stupid. I wanted to check out the village and fell over. It must have been a branch that was sticking up.
Is Milo about?
No, he's not at the moment. Is something wrong?
Just tell him I need to speak to him, and it's important.
What was all that about?
I don't know.
And where is he, Dad? Josh?
So Blake Keswick was the only one in the village with an army background.
Still checking through, but he was the first one that came up. The interesting bit is that he was stationed at Little Auburn. He left 20 years ago. I found a report from his then commanding officer, Major Haynes, now retired. Blake Keswick was discharged for attacking a senior officer.
Do we know who that was?
The man himself. Major Haynes received a nasty punch to the face after Blake Keswick accused him of sleeping with his girlfriend. Haynes denies it, and no one backs up Keswick's story.
So what have we got? 2 murders connected to the military in some way? Coincidence? Or someone trying to point the finger at Blake?
Well, he sounds aggressive and unpredictable.
Don't worry about it, Winter. I'm sure you can handle him. Let's see what he has to say.
Why haven't you been answering your phone? I've been trying you for ages.
I'm just meeting a supplier.
Oh, don't lie to me. You're a terrible liar. What's going on? Where are you? I've had Blake in here looking for you.
I'm in the old village. Something's come up.
What do you mean something's come up? What can come up at this time of night?
What are you doing here?
Milo! Milo? Milo! Okay, Josh, you need to tell me exactly where your dad is.
What, Little Auburn? Do we know exactly where he is? Okay, thank
Keswick,
you.
we need to talk.
Change of plan, Winter. We're heading for Little Auburn. Andrea Craven called it in. She thinks her husband's in danger.
Whereabouts?
Sir?
Hmm?
Perhaps we should,
It's an old sign. Come on.
Sir. Sir, stay right where you are. We've got company.
Get out, Winter. Nicely done, Winter. Even if you were disobeying orders. I think we need to see what's behind this door, don't you?
there.
I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Craven.
What was he thinking, getting involved in something like that?
Do you know Josh?
It's my fault.
What do you mean?
I read about how much money exotic snakes go for. I told Dad, and we came up with an idea of breeding them in the village.
Oh, Josh.
One got loose and bit me on my arm. I let the wound get infected. Dad didn't want me to say anything.
Who did this?
That's what we're trying to establish. Is there anyone who'd clashed with your husband recently?
No. Well, apart from Roderick, but everyone was trying to get him to talk to them about the village. Sylvia, Lucy. And then Blake Keswick came round asking for him.
Thank you. If you remember anything else, please let us know.
I'm sorry.
She's asleep. It took her a while to go down. She's still asking exactly where Sykes is. How did your seminar go?
Oh, fine. I'm now fully compliant with staff performance review protocols.
Lucky you.
Maybe we should get Betty a rabbit or something to distract her.
For 5 minutes, and I'll spend more time cleaning the cage out than she will playing with Flopsy.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's too soon. How's the case going? Anything I can help you with?
Only if you know something I don't about any of the suspects, like Lucy or Blake Keswick or local MP Sujan Leonard, for instance.
Wasn't she the one that had a female partner and then suddenly married a male solicitor?
You spend too much time reading online gossip. And I'm glad that you do.
Well, you certainly know how to keep me on my toes. This is the first time I've encountered snake constriction as a method of killing.
No 2 days are the same in this job.
So the ultimate cause of death is restriction of blood supply. The victim suffered a sharp blow to the head, rendering him unconscious.
So that's how the killer got him locked in the deadly room of serpents.
And is that what we're calling it?
Absolutely not.
There are grazes to his legs and bruises under his arms, consistent with having been pulled into the
Please don't.
crime scene. The snakes would then have squeezed his body, cutting off his blood flow. His major organs would have shut down under the pressure.
What a deeply unpleasant way to go. Now, when you examined the victim's head wound, did you notice any,
No sign of any hair missing. Sorry.
That village must be cursed. First one owner dies, then the next.
And under the terms of Milo's will, Little Auburn now passes to Andrea.
Shall I get uniform to keep an eye on her?
Though Finn was squatting in Little Auburn, but he didn't own it. So, if this is the same killer, there must be something else that connects the 3 deaths. But what?
It can't be Andrea, can it? She rang us about Milo going missing, after all.
The perfect cover. Let's not rule anyone out at this stage. She's very close to her father, Fred, and he wants the old pub back. But she surely wouldn't have killed her own son. Has anything come back from the bank yet about who was making cash payments into Finn's account?
You think we should follow the money?
Always. In fact, let's have a look at all our suspects' financial ins and outs. Oh, and it's time to go and see Blake Keswick.
I didn't mention it because I didn't think it was relevant. It was years ago.
You didn't think it was relevant that you were second in command of an army unit in Little Auburn?
The place wasn't used very much by that stage, and so it's where the army sent its most hopeless officers.
Did you know Roderick Craven back then? Or any member of the Craven family?
No.
What about the circumstances in which you left the army, Mr. Keswick? Do you think those are irrelevant too?
Entirely. It was a fight, that's all.
You put the other man in hospital.
Briefly.
And got a dishonourable discharge.
Only because the other man happened to be my commanding officer. It was 20 years ago.
We'll be in touch.
I've had someone going through all the suspects' bank statements, and it looks like they might have found something.
About who?
Andrea Craven. Her account is regularly topped up with small cash sums, but also she deposits a lot of checks.
Well, she runs a shop.
No, this is her personal account. Most of the checks come from other Great Auburn residents. 30 quid here, 50 quid there.
She's a cleaner. They're payments from her customers.
Oh. Of course, yeah. Sorry, I thought it might have been something.
Maybe it still is.
It's mainly private homes. It looks like she does a bit of office cleaning for Julian Leonard. That check comes from his company account.
Well, now, that is interesting. Find out how often she cleans his office and when.
Yes, sir.
So you've been lying to me all this time? Why?
I didn't tell you about Little Auburn because it was too painful. What's your excuse?
Excuse for what?
Lying to me!
I don't know what you mean.
Let me give you a little piece of advice, Lucy. If you are going to go to the trouble of acquiring a secret phone, do not use your date of birth as your password!
No, that's all I needed. No, that's really useful. Ah, sir, according to Julian Leonard's office manager, Andrea Craven's been doing cleaning for them for about 3 years.
Long enough for them to trust her with the keys and alarm code.
That's right. She goes in after the office is closed so she won't disturb anybody.
3 years. So she would have been there when the MOD announced that they were handing the land back to Roderick Craven.
What are you thinking, sir?
Julian Leonard was Roderick Craven's solicitor, so he had his will at the office.
Easy for Andrew to access.
Possibly.
Perhaps she forged it. Remember how shocked everyone was that Roderick left his estate to his brother?
Let's get forensics to take a look at that will.
Lucy! Is Julian here?
No, what are you doing? You shouldn't be here.
It's Blake. I think he's going to hurt Julian.
What the hell are you talking about?
Sir, there's something here I think you should see. Those deposits made into Finn Thornbury's account. One was made via an ATM in Oxford. The bank just sent through their CCTV footage.
Lucy, what's going on?
We're having an affair, and Blake's found out.
I wouldn't call it that.
Julian and I were having an affair. Do you understand? Don't look like that. Your marriage was over. Don't tell me your marriage was over.
How could you? How could you? After everything I've done for you...
Everything you've done? All you did was sweet-talk a planning committee!
All I did. You persuaded me to do something that goes against everything I believe in.
Yes, so why did you do it then?
Because I thought there was something between us.
Yeah, we haven't got time for this. We need to call the police.
No, come back, Lucy!
What on earth's going on? What's happening? Whoa, 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 whoa!
You have to help me! My husband's about to do something terrible to someone!
Mother.
Will you just talk?
I've had quite enough of listening to you and everybody else in this town. All you ever do is talk.
If I could just make you understand. If you just don't listen.
It's too late for that.
No. Oh, God. No, please. No.
You thought you'd get away with it, did you? Move! No, I've got you now.
No!
Put that gun down. What do you think you're doing?
Move! Move over there! Now, quickly move!
Please.
And keep out of my way. This is between me and Julian. Your son has been having an affair with my wife.
That can't be true.
Are you accusing me of lying?
Leave her alone.
Stop talking! I don't want to hear any more from any of you!
Including me? Huh? You're an intelligent man, Mr. Keswick. I don't have to tell you this won't solve anything.
It might make me feel better.
Not for long. And not in a prison cell.
Don't move! I never asked her for anything. Only to be with me. Only me!
You can't force someone into loving you.
Come here! Come here! Come here! Stay still! Blake Keswick.
Forget you!
Arresting you for aggravated. Come on now, Ma. Everything's gonna be okay.
I'm not sure that's the case, Mr. Leonard. We still have some unsolved murders.
Well, yeah, well, you've got him now, the killer.
If only it were that simple. Maybe you could help me to clear up a few things. For instance, why were you paying large sums of money to Finn Thornbury?
Well, he was doing some work for me. Sorting out some planning issues for Little Auburn.
Ah. Yet, you didn't want those payments to be traceable. So you travelled 30 miles just to make a deposit. We have you on CCTV in Oxford. Why?
Well, I don't recall.
What exactly are you accusing my son of?
What was Finn really doing for you, Mr. Leonard?
Julian, weren't you answering him?
As Karina's boyfriend, Finn had access to Roderick Craven's house. What did you need him to get for you? Not documents, you already had access to those. Something more personal?
What did you do to my grandson?
Your grandson was just a little petty thief, and not a very good one either.
Finn was supposed to be getting you some DNA evidence to prove your real parentage, wasn't he?
What?
But he refused.
You know he had no intention of building a damn eco-village. He was just going to take all of investment money and run.
So you were performing your civic duty, protecting the village?
Yes!
You killed Finn Thornbury because he was blackmailing you. He knew what you intended to do. You then tried to throw suspicion onto Blake Keswick.
Julian, tell me this isn't true.
Mr. Leonard, how old were you when you first became aware that your mother had been in a relationship with Tobias Craven, Roderick and Milo's father?
Why is this relevant?
Because you know why, Mother.
Being Roderick's solicitor, you had the opportunity to alter his will, leaving this village to any surviving sibling. Then you killed Roderick. And once you'd got Milo out of the way as well, it was just a case of producing your DNA results and staking your claim as the rightful heir to Little Auburn.
Julian, you're not the heir. Yes, I had an affair with Tobias. He wasn't your father.
Why are you denying this? The whole village knew. I had to live with the shame and teasing all my life. I know who I am.
Mr. Leonard, our officers searched your computer and found you had forged Roderick's will. They also found you're awaiting confirmation of a DNA test, which we tracked down from the lab.
There was no match between the two DNA samples you provided, yours and Roderick's. Tobias Craven was not your father.
No. This is a mistake. Who was my father? And don't, for God's sake, give me that line about him dying after I was born. Tell me the truth!
Here is your father. It was a long time ago.
The invasion of Little Auburn in 1962? It can be a heady mix. Civil disobedience and cider round the campfire.
How could you keep this from me?
It's not true. You're lying.
I'm so sorry. Can you ever forgive me?
Never!
Julian Leonard, I'm arresting you on suspicion of the murders of Finn Thornbury, Roderick Craven, and Milo Craven. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something you go to lie.
I'm sorry.
For doing your job?
No, for the way I had to do it.
Julian was right. I should have told him the truth. But I was ashamed. For all the wrong reasons. I never really spoke to Fred before that night. He was funny and exciting. And one thing led to another, as it does. And then when I discovered I was in trouble, that's what we called it in those days, I should never have come back. Somehow, I couldn't keep away.
Had Fred never wondered about Julian?
Oh, yes. There was a rumor about Tobias, and Fred stopped asking. It's all my fault, isn't it?
No, Mrs. Leonard. You are responsible for your actions, but not for your son's. Let me find someone to take you home.
Thank you. I prefer to walk.
So where did you find him? Paddy disappeared in Little Auburn the night his master was killed.
Cam and I went back this morning with a bit of filet mignon and he came running.
Oh, clearly a dog with good taste.
And goodbye, Nelson. And good luck.
Paddy, down, boy. Sorry, sir.
Better see if any of the Cravens will take him in.
I've already tried, sir. The daughter's allergic to dogs and the niece doesn't have space.
So what are you planning to do?
Well, I'd take him myself, but I don't even know if I'm staying here.
Nelson's attachment has been extended for at least another year. The job's yours if you want it.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you.
Well done.
So you can start looking for some digs.
Well, it's going to take me some time to find somewhere.
And I did mention that you and Sarah recently suffered a loss.
So I was wondering if you might look after Paddy. Just for a few days.
By a few days, I take it you mean forever.
Well...
Thank you, Winter.